What's up, everybody? So let me explain my story real quick, because I was a creator and I started out using my iPhone, I believe my iPhone 13, not the Pro at the time, but using my iPhone 13 to create content. And it was great. You know, if you have a cell phone and you don't have money to get a real camera or anything like that, just make sure that you know that you can use your cell phone, whether it's an iPhone, whether it's an Android phone, it doesn't really matter. I think a lot of videos are really great on most mobile phones. So let's get right to why I titled this video what I did title it. Is because I've been creating content on the DJI Pocket 3 for over a year now, and the Action 4 camera, and it has changed the dynamic of my channel tremendously. Right now I'm currently shooting on my Canon R6 Mark II just to do this talking part right here, but all the B-roll that you're going to see in this video is done on the Pocket currently right now, the Pocket 3, as well as the Action 4 camera, which are the two things that I use for my channel. And I'm also using the DJI Mic 2 as well, which I really love, and I actually have 3 of these. One is for my Action 4, one is for my Canon camera, and the other one is for the Pocket 3. It just made my life a lot easier, so I went ahead and bought the whole entire kit plus one spare microphone, and it worked out really great. So I've been using these for my channel for quite some time now, and a lot of people have gave me compliments on my quality and everything like that. Now, I'm gonna tell you why I enjoy using these the most. One reason I like using these the most is because the angles. It's harder to get the angles that I want with my camera if I have to use a gimbal and some kind of messy setup with screens and microphones and everything detached or whatever like that to it. And with the Pocket, it makes things a little bit easier because you can just turn this thing on and then you can just kind of go and just start recording and creating content from whatever angles that you want, because it's a built-in gimbal and it just makes it easier to get stuff done and shot perfectly just fine without any issues at all. And then when it comes to the Action 4, this is great for, you know, the point of view. Normally I mount it to the top of my head when I'm out using it for something else, or sometimes I mount it to my chest, whatever like that, just to get that POV footage, and it turns out really, really great. And I highly recommend, you know, they do have the Pro 5 out now, which I plan on upgrading this soon, but still, even if I didn't want to, this would be just fine. And one of the best things about it, I shoot D-Log on both of these, so therefore I can match the footage for both of these when I'm using both of these in one video. So I definitely highly recommend, if you're out here thinking about starting out a career or starting out to become a creator and you just don't know what camera to get, I highly recommend this camera. But I know there is some flaws that a lot of creators bring up. There's no lens selections. You can't zoom in and zoom out. Well, technically you can, but it's digital and you kind of don't want that. But if that's something that's not a concern for you, which is not really a concern for me, normally when I want like really close, nice bokeh in the background, I just get closer to my subject, because you can kind of focus pretty close with the DJI Pocket 3, not more so the Action 4, because it's more like an infinity, so anything that gets close get blurred out. So that's something that you might need to know when you're using both of these. And of course this has a built-in gimbal, while the Pocket has a built-in gimbal, while the Action 4 camera has, you know, digital stabilization, which works really, really well. So just keep that in mind as well when you're setting these things up. Now, I do have a video where I have my full review of the Pocket where you can actually see my settings, and I actually use the settings for both of these exactly the same. So the way this is set up, this is exactly set up the same exact way. So you can go ahead and check that video out if you want to get my actual D-Log settings and how I shoot everything to get the footage that you've been seeing in this video, as far as all of the B-roll that I've been shooting. Now I'm gonna give you a few helpful tips that you can use when you do get this Pocket. And if you're somebody who's just sitting in front of the camera, or you are out here shooting tech or B-roll or objects or whatever it is that you're shooting, I don't use this for vlogging. This is what most people talk about, is like this is the perfect vlogging camera, but for me it's not. It's the perfect YouTube camera for whatever content that I want to create, it's going to create. So the tip that I'm going to give you is that, you know, make sure that when you're panning your shots or everything like that, then you have it on like a follow or something like that. And also don't be afraid to stick a stick on the bottom of this and make it really, really long, and then you can hold it in the air and get like some drone shots or get some really low shots upside down like this. But make sure when you flip the camera, you wait a little bit so the sensor can flip over, and then their shots won't come out upside down, because normally if you hit record first and then you turn your camera like that, then your footage is going to be upside down. So you want to turn it upside down first, and then you want to go ahead and hit record, and then your footage will come out upright. It's something that I learned when I was shooting, trying to get those lower angles when I was moving back and forth, panning like that, trying to get some really low slow motion shots, which I like to shoot in 120 with some shots like that, because it takes away some of that camera shake when you're holding that pole so far down or whatever like that. So that's great for type shots like that. Say you're a person who sits in front of your camera like I'm doing now talking, just make sure that you have a really good light, and that's all you really need: your microphone, your camera, and good lighting, and pretty much you're good. Now, when you're shooting outside, you want to make sure that you actually have a ND filter, which I don't have one on my Pocket now, is in the case, but I do have one right now currently on my there it is right there. So you make sure that you have a ND filter up there. I use a variable one on my Pocket 3, and I just use a regular one up here on my Action 4 camera when I'm out and about. So therefore everything could be kind of like pretty much balanced. You don't want something overblown too much or whatever like that in your videos when you're out and about and you're moving around. So also keep this in mind when you're out shooting in lower light situations. While it does do pretty good in low light, you kind of want to make sure that you have light, unless you're just one of those low light shooters and that's the type of stuff that you make, which is totally fine. But just make sure that you have enough light when you're out there shooting. Light is very important, just like in photography. It's very important in video. If you want the best quality out of anything, then you want to make sure that you have enough light, and just make sure that you do when you're shooting with this. So don't just go shoot out any time of the day. And also keep in mind of the harsh lights out there if you do not have ND filter, because you're going to have to shoot at a certain time if you don't get yourself an ND filter, so you're exposed as well as your subject exposed. Another thing when using the mics, I don't like to use this unless I'm outside, which is the dead cat. I only use this when I'm outside, never when I'm inside or anything like that for that matter. I do like using the magnets because the magnets don't hang your clothes down. If I had pinned this somewhere up here, this extra microphone, it'd be hanging like this, so I don't like that. So therefore I like to use the magnets to keep it kind of upright. And don't be afraid to turn your volume up on your DJ mic too. I have mine to 9 right now. I made a mistake and shot a lot of videos in the beginning days when I had got this and I had it at a certain volume. Then I found myself turning it up all the time when I was using Final Cut to edit my footage and everything like that. So just don't be afraid to bring that volume up. You can always fix it. I know that people talk about the 32-bit float, which I never really use because I never plug this up and get the footage from, well, the video footage from this right here, unless I'm doing like a voiceover or something like that. But even when I'm doing a voiceover, I still like to turn the camera on and point it at me when I'm doing voiceovers, because for some reason I just like the audio that comes from this when it's connected to the mic instead of straight out of the microphone. For some reason, that's just me. But yeah, so don't be afraid to turn your volume up as well. And like I said, this camera has really been a game changer for my channel and everything that I do. I really hope that this video kind of helped you out a little bit and it just made a decision better for you when it comes to deciding whether you want to pick up the Pocket 3 or not. If you don't have the bigger budget to grab everything, you can grab everything as you go. I do recommend that you at least grab the Pocket itself and the microphone if you can. If you can't afford the creator combo itself, but then again, you'll still be saving a little bit of money if you just grab the creator combo. And I think you'll be great. Just don't worry too much about if you can't zoom with lenses and stuff like that. You'll find creative ways to do your content without it. It does come with a wide angle if you want a wider view and stuff like that, which I don't use a lot. But again, remember, you can get nice bokeh if you just bring this camera a little bit closer to your subject when you're shooting out there. Not more so the action camera, but the action camera is great for those, you know, really horrible weathers, you know, rain, snow, and just really good stuff. And also with this action camera, I want to also talk about that I love mounting this to my car. I have a magnet that mounts to this, and then I mount it on the outside of the car, and I get some really nice cool car shots as well. I get some nice action shots, and it's really good. You can throw this in a freezer and do that whole freezer trick where you open up the freezer and the camera's right there, you can close it up. You know, you're safe to do this with this and everything like that. You could probably do this with this, but I wouldn't trust it because it's not weather sealed for anything at all whatsoever. But this right here will be. So anyways, I know I talk more about the DJI Pocket than everything, but everything that I stated about the Pocket kind of applies to this as well in this video. Only difference is this is not a built-in gimbal. It has like built-in stabilization, but this is very durable for those extreme situations that you need to do things with. I don't trust putting my Pocket 3 on the outside of my car, which you can, but I'd rather have this up there. If it fail, I know it's not gonna break, it's gonna be fine. I mean, I might crack my screen, maybe, depends on where it falls, but I know it's durable and it's going to be fine. So I hope this video is really helpful if you're trying to make a decision whether you want to get the DJI Pocket or another camera, or maybe even the action camera, or maybe even a GoPro or something else. But this is what I use to create all my content on my channel on a daily. And I hope that everything that I said was a little bit helpful in helping you decide what you want to do and how you want to move forward with your channel. If you can't afford any of this, just remember, you can always just use your phone. Anyways, this is Devil Digital, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.